So we are starting. So we are going to have a webinar on robotic process automation, and let's start. So let's start with what is robotic process automation. So before that, robotic process automation is an act of stopping a human being from doing some set of repetitive tasks, right? So in this webinar, we are covering what is RPA and why we are using RPA, that is robotic process automation. Then how we are implementing RPA with the use of some robotics tools that is available in the market. So we'll see the list of tools available and how which one is the best one or which is hitting the market, and we'll see a live demonstration on RPA, so that you will get an idea how a basic robot is working, right? So I'll show you a demonstration, and we'll discuss about the career opportunities for RPA, right? So we are starting with what is RPA, right? So when we hear the term robotic, what comes in our mind is a physical robot, right? So we'll think about the movie Endiran, and we'll think about the physical robots that we have, right? So uh, most of the people are having that idea when we hear the term robotic process automation, when we hear the term robotics, right? But the robot that we are discussing here is it's not about physical robots, it's about software robots, the software robots which are running in our systems, in our laptops or in our desktops, any computers, right? And sometimes we call robotic process automation as software robotics, right? So be clear that we are discussing, or we are going to see what is software robots and how it is working, what are the things a software robot can do, and which are the areas which can be used, right? So we'll start with robotic entities which mimic human actions are called as robots, right? So what the physical robots will do is physical robot will mimic the physical actions of a human being, right? But now we are not discussing about that. We are discussing about the software robot. So the software robot will mimic the actions which we people are doing in our system. So sometimes I may be doing the same kind of thing repetitively for example for hours or for a day, right? So such kind of actions are called as repetitive tasks, right? So such kind of repetitive tasks can be done with the use of software robot. We'll see the details in the coming slides. And what is a process? A process is a sequence of steps which lead to a meaningful activity, right? For example, someone who is opening an application and logging into that application, then he's entering some data. He's having a Excel sheet. He's taking the data, entering into the application, then submitting it, doing some calculations, and again taking some other set of data, doing the same thing, right? Such kind of actions, which is called as a repetitive task, right? So such kind of actions are called as a process, right? Everything that we are doing is having a process behind it, right? Such kind of processes can be automated, and a process is a sequence of steps which lead to meaningful activity, right? And what is automation? Automation is any process which is done by a robot without human intervention, right? So when we are assigning or configuring a software robot for doing some kind of task, we don't need to worry about the task on that particular time, and the software robot will automatically do it. So we can schedule software robots, we can train the robot. Train the robot is not the physical training, we are training into the use of some softwares, and that software robot will work on time without having any human intervention. So what that I think you got an idea about what is robotic process automation, right? So that is robotic process automation, and RPA is mimicking human actions to perform a sequence of steps leading to a meaningful activity without any human intervention, is also known as robotic process automation. And we say robotic process, or we call robotic process automation as software robotics as well, right? So do you have any delay in the session? Can you please respond? No. You are clearly audible, right?
There was a lag in between.
Okay. So should I repeat any point that I have discussed?
Not necessary.
Because,
Not necessary. Not necessary.
okay,
It's
sir. Thank you. Thank you. So
already
I'm
explained.
okay. I'm continuing with the session. Okay. So next is the importance of RPA. So RPA replaces the human effort by bots to do repetitive tasks, right? So we'll see some of the example, what the repetitive tasks, and some real-time examples can be discussed. And the RPA increases the efficiency, the accuracy of doing tasks in our systems, and it frees the human resources to be used for better and more productive jobs, right? So rather than doing these repetitive tasks by a human being, the effort of a human being can be taken for some other useful task, like the task which involve emotional intelligence or judgments, reasoning, and such kind of things can be in such situations we can use human resources, right? Instead of simply doing all the things every day, the same things every day. So we are configuring the software robots for doing such things, and we are, because we all are running out of time because of some tedious task, some kind of repetitive task. For example, if you are taking a clerical job, if you are taking a clerical job, the clerks may be doing same kind of things. He may be having a set of data in the form of Excel sheet, or in the form of a document, or in the form of a PDF. He need to take the data out of it, have to submit the data into some applications. For example, he's having a web application or a web portal. So he have to suppose he's having an Excel sheet with him, with 1,000 rows or 1,000 records of some data. So what he have to do is he have to take the first row, then he have to take the data, then have to open the application, web application or the web portal, have to put it in the web page, in the form. There may be having a form, have to fill the form, submit it. Again, he have to take the second set of data, right? So there is a process flow, and all the tasks are following the same process flow, right? In such situations we are using RPA, but it is not restricted to using doing these kind of repetitive tasks. The RPA can be used for some other useful tasks as well. We'll see those examples. So that is the basic idea about robotics. And these are all the benefits of robotic process automation. First thing is the accuracy, right? So extreme accuracy and uniformity, because if a human being is doing a particular task, he may be taking much time for doing that, right? But a software robot can quickly do it. If a human being is doing one task in 1 minute, within 1 minute that a software robot can do 10 similar kind of tasks, right? So, and accuracy in the sense, the robot will do the task as it is. If a human being is doing the task, there may be a chance of errors. Sometimes we may be not feeling good, we may be having some health issues or mental stress, right? In such kind of situations, the quality of our work may also get varied, right? So, but in the case of robotic process automation, once we train a software robot, the robot will work as it is, without having any delay, without having any errors, right? Like the typos error, which is a common error which we all are doing, right? When we are typing data, there may be a chance of typing wrong things or wrong data. But if we are enabling, or if we are configuring a software robot to insert data continuously by taking from kind of documents, the software robot will not make any errors. So the chance of errors are much less. So the accuracy level is high when we are using robotic process automation for doing our tasks, right? And the second thing is low technical barrier. low technical barrier in the sense, once for example there is a clerical job, so we know that it's a repetitive task, or we got an idea like these tasks can be automated, so that that human resource can be used for some other process. So what the company will do is the company will connect to IT company, and will give the requirement like these are all the things that we need to automate, so that that particular developer, there will be a RPA developer, right? So the RPA developer will understand the requirement, then will develop a software robot based on the requirement, and will install and or configure that software robot in the system of that particular clerk, right? And the now the job of the clerk is he is having some other jobs, as well as he has to monitor this robot, right? Monitor this robot. So for monitoring and for configuring this software robot, he don't need to have much idea about programming or other technical technological things. He don't need to have much knowledge in that. He just need to have a basic idea about how can we use a computer system, right? So most of the people, almost everyone is using computers and mobile phones, right? And nowadays it is not an issue. So the low technical barrier, that is no programming skills are required to configure a software robot. So it is very much easy to handle a software robot in our system, right? And compliance, boards follow regulatory compliance rules. They follow the same set of rules that we have configured, and provide an audit trail history. So whenever a software robot is running, it will record the history, so that if I need to track the software robot, what are the things that is done by the robot, what are the things that are in pending status, what are the things that is already scheduled, such kind of audit histories or audit trail histories are maintained by the software robot, so that it is very much easy for tracking the software robot, the way of its journey to complete those set of tasks, right? And non-invasive technology, in the sense, when we are installing or configuring a software robot into a computer in an organization, that software robot may not disrupt its activities or its underlying legacy systems. So they have a set of legacy systems, right? They may be having a set of softwares that they are using, the operating system they are using, but the software robot may not won't make any modifications or any problems with the existing system. It will work on the existing system and will automate the works which is done by a human being, right? It will not interrupt the things that is already happening, or it may not make any damage to the software system that is already having this in our systems, right? And next is consistency, right? So routine tasks are performed the same way each and every time, right? Once we configure a software robot for doing a particular task, the robot will work as it is for the entire list of tasks. It will do the task uniformly, consistently, without making any errors, and with the same flow, without having any issues, right? And reliability. So bots tirelessly work 24/7 without interruption. But in the case of a human being, he may not work for 24/7, right? Because if he's working like that, the quality of work may vary, right? But in the case of software robot, it can work as it is for the entire day. So that is the effectiveness of using software robot for such kind of task in an organization, right? So that the human effort can be taken for some other higher level task, which include or the task which is only can do by a human being, as like judgments, interacting with the customers. So such kind of things which need more human intelligence rather than a computer intelligence, we can use the human resource for such kind of higher level things, right? And if you are just think like if you are doing a set of tasks, we are running out of time because of we have a set number of tasks that may be a repetitive task with the use of computer systems, right? So when we assign a software robot for doing such tasks, it is very much easy for us. So we will not be doing and will not get bored of doing the same kind of task, right? So such kind of task can be assigned to a software robot. Next is productivity, right? So the process cycles times are much faster compared to manual process approaches, and so that is it is much faster because software robots are doing things very faster rather than because in the case of human being there is a chance of lag in the work because of the physical or mental condition of a human being, right? So that problem may not occur when we are using software. So workers can dedicate more time to engaging interesting work rather than doing this repetitive tasks, right? So that is the benefits of using robotic process automation. And next is why we are using RPA, right? So now we got an idea why we are using RPA, right? RPA is economically efficient than any other automation solutions that exist currently. And business processes, the repetitive business processes also enables human being to shift their focus from repetitive tasks to tasks requiring emotional intelligence, reasoning, judgment, and interaction with the customers. So human employees can be allocated for such kind of useful tasks, right, which need human intelligence and emotional intelligence, right? So these are all the areas to look in robotic process automation. First one is increase efficiency and compliance, right? So when we are implementing or when we are configuring the software robot in our systems or in our organization, obviously the efficiency will get increased, and the compliance, the way of doing things will be the same way as it is, right? And enhance the management capabilities, right? Since we have the audit trail history reports, and the task which is assigned by to a software robot will do without having any interruption. So we can make sure that in that complete, right? But in the case of a human being, there may be a chance of a delay in the work, right? So when we are assigning software robot, they will complete the work on time, and it is very much easy for management, right? And improved customer experience, right? So when the software robots are doing tasks in a very efficient manner, the customer experience will also get improved, right? So that is the another advantage of using RPA. And increase the degree of flexibility. What is the flexibility? In the sense, any kind of the clerical jobs or the repetitive task or any other kind of task can be easily done with the use of software robot. It is much flexible. We can modify it. We can incorporate more functionalities. So such kind of the degree of flexibility is increased, and enhance scalability of solutions. What is scalability? In the sense, since we consider we have already developed a software robot, and if we need to scale the functionality, that means we have already developed a software robot, and now we need to enhance its features. That is, we need to incorporate more features on it to when suppose we have a web application, so we need to automate it. We have a set of tasks to be done by the employee in that web application. So what we are doing is we are assigning those tasks into a software robot. The software robot will open the web application automatically. The software robot will do the task, repetitive task. And if in such situation, suppose the developers of that software, that web application has changed the functionality. For example, they have included one or two additional functionality to the system. So we may need to change or we may need to add more functionality to the software robot as well, because we have already changed the web application. So the software robot has to identify the changes, right? So we have to implement additional functionality to the software robot so that the software robot can manage the new modification that has happened in the web application, right? So we can scale the functionalities of software robot once we have developed, and the improved levels of agility, in the sense we can modify it once we have developed a software robot. And if you need to change or if you need to make some modifications in the functionalities of that software robot, it is also very much easy when we are using RPA, right? We can include or add more functionality to the software robot in the future, or we can modify the already existing functionalities or features, right? So that is what we are discussing here. And next is the use of RPA in business fields, right? So about 38% of insurance industry is using robotic process automation, and in hospitality and retail 36%, and for energy and utilities they are using 30% of the energy and utilities industry is using robotic process automation. In healthcare, it is 30%. Man and consumer packaged goods, they are using 28% of RPA in their functionalities or their operations, right? And in banking and financial services as well, they are using 24% of RPA services. In other 22%, and in pharma and life science, they are using 22%. And for example, in case of an insurance claim, right? So for insurance claim, what we will do is the insurance claim company may have a web application, right? So what the user will do, the customer will do is the customer will fill the data in the form. The customer will open the web application, the web portal of that insurance company, and will fill the data required, and also will attach some documents of proof which needs to get the insurance policy, right? So how we are automating this? So in the backend, the employees in the what nowadays what is doing is after submitting the claim by the customer, the insurance staffs in the backend have to take the data submitted by the user. So they may be getting the data in the form of a document or in the form of an Excel, and have to take the documents attached to the application and have to cross check it, right? The data submitted and the data already in their system, so that they have to check the validity of the insurance, the amount of the claim, or the data which is submitted now for the claim, then the documents attached to the application. So that employee has to taken care of all these things, right? And he or she has to process that insurance claim one by one. So he is doing a repetitive task. He is taking the submitted data, he is taking the documents, he is taking the already existing data of the customer, then analyzing and cross-checking all these things, and making a decision, right? And making a decision, and creating a report, and it is intimating to the customer, right? And this is the case of a single customer, right? But he or she has to do the same thing for the entire customers that they have submitted the insurance claim, right? But in this situation, how can we use a software robot? We can use a software robot, we can train the software robot by doing this task. So the software robot will take the data which is, so when we are running the software robot, for example, we can schedule it. For example, we are scheduling the software robot for all the month ends, or in a particular date of a month, or a date of a month, right? So the software robot will take the first application, will take the data submitted by the customer, then will take the already existing data, will scan the documents which is submitted by the customer, then cross-check the documents with the data submitted, and will make a decision, will create a document base out of it, and will share it to the customer, and will keep a copy of it or track the details, and will intimate this to the employee in the insurance company, right? So the insurance staff don't need to take care of this, and we can if this task is done by a human being, there is much possibility of errors sometimes, right? Sometimes there is a possibility of errors, right? But this task is done by a software robot, there may not be having any errors. It will do as it is without having any interruptions or problems, right? So that is a very basic example. And let us take another example of taking our using software robots. As like I have already explained in the introductory session. Suppose we have a head office, and we have a number of branch office throughout Kerala, right? So the head office is locating at Trivandrum, and the branch offices are in some other districts of Kerala, right? So suppose we have a clerk or one employee in the head office. So his job is in the every starting of the month. For example, in every month, emails from all the branch offices, right? That particular staff in head office is getting a number of emails from the open the emails, then download the attachments which is sent by the branch office employees, and have to open it, and have to open all the documents, have to read it, analyze it, and based on the analysis, he has to create a single document based on the analysis, and that document has to send to some higher authorities, right? So this is a task which he is doing for every month in a particular date, for example in a month end, right? And this is a very tedious task, right? Because having a lot of documents, analyze result out of it, right? It is a tedious task. So this task can be easily automated, because there is a process flow, right? Getting the emails, opening the emails, downloading the attachments, then making some manipulations, then we are getting to some conclusions, creating a document, right? So when we are designing a software robot for doing this particular task, we can schedule the software robot in the system of that particular employee in the head office, so that if we are scheduling that software robot for every month's 30th, or for every month's the first day of every month, whatever, right? And we don't need to bother about it. After that, the software robot will automatically do the task. For every month end or in the start of the month, the software robot will automatically, once you schedule it, after scheduling it, it will automatically, like an alarm, right? It will automatically start running. It will get into the email, right? So we can set it. We can set the email ID, password, which is very secure when we are using robotic process automation tools, right? We don't need to bother about it, about the password security and everything. Everything is perfect in most of the almost all the RPA tools, right? So it will automatically open the browser, then we'll open our email account, then we'll get into the email account by providing the username and password, and we'll scan the emails, and we'll open the emails, then we'll download the attachments, will make the calculations or conclusions, and will produce a document. It will automatically send to a particular email, right? So this can be implemented, right? So these are the situations where we are using RPA, and we'll see another example. Like you have an idea about data science, right? Data science, machine learning, artificial intelligence, right? So in data science, the main thing that we need is data. Right, we have to take or fetch or extract data from different resources. Suppose nowadays we are getting data from web applications, right? Some from websites, from some web, search results, right? So in such situations, we can extract data easily with the use of robotic process automation, because we may be having the data in different pages of a website. We may be having 10 results in the first page. We may be having the second 10 results in the second page. So if we are manually extracting those data, we have to navigate to each and every pages, have to take or copy paste the data that we need, right? This can be simply done with the use of RPA tools. So the data extraction operation, that is a repetitive task, right? Even though it is a data extraction, it is going navigating to the separate pages and extracting. It's a repetitive task, and also it is a tedious task, right? And based on the result, we can do some conclusions also with the use of software robot, right? So the data collection, data extractions, everything can be easily done with the use of software robots, right? And how RPA? So let's see how we are doing RPA or how we are developing software robots. So we have a set of RPA tools available in the market. You can learn any of that RPA tool and you can develop your own software robots. So you got an idea, right? The software robot will work based on how we are implementing it. If you are implementing it for data extraction, it will do the data extraction operation. If you are implementing it for some clerical jobs, it will do the clerical jobs, right? So we are not using the same robot for every operation. We are creating a software robot. Software robot in the sense it's a kind of software, right? It's not a physical thing. It's a software. So we are creating a workflow. We are creating a process. And based on the process, we are creating a software robot and we are configuring it and implementing it into a system, right? And RPA tools or vendors are the software through which you can configure tasks to get automated. In today's market, there are RPA vendors such as Blue Prism, Automation Anywhere, UiPath, WorkFusion, Pegasystems, and many more RPA tools are available in the market, right? So let's see the major three RPA tools which is used in the industries. The leaders in the market are the trio UiPath, Blue Prism, and Automation Anywhere, right? So let's see the difference between these three, and we will see which one is best to learn for the current scenario, right? So all three are very much which is used by the industries. So let's see. First one is Automation Anywhere. Automation Anywhere is a developer of robotic process automation software, which employs software bots to complete processes. So if you learn Automation Anywhere tool, you can create software robot using that tool, right? So that's it. If you are using a Automation Anywhere, you can use it and develop the software robot. If you are using some other tools, you have to learn it. You have to learn how we are creating software robot using that tool and have to develop it. Right, and the second tool is Blue Prism. Blue Prism is the trading name of the Blue Prism Group, a UK multinational software corporation that pioneered in makes enterprise robotic process automation software that provides a digital workspace designed to automate complex end-to-end operational activities. Right, it's a very famous automation tool. And the third one is UiPath. So UiPath is a leading robotic process automation. We'll see why they are the leaders of RPA. We'll see it. And providing a complete software platform to help organizations efficiently automate business processes. So these are some of the features of the trios. First one is, how will I practice? In UiPath, we have a community edition. Community edition is a free edition available, so that if you are interested to learn RPA, because UiPath is having a community edition, you don't need to pay for it. You can practice it with the use of UiPath. So you can install UiPath tool and you can practice it. You can create your own software robots and you can implement that. But for doing all these things, you have to learn it. You should be trained for creating software robots in UiPath, right? And the second one is Blue Prism, but in the case of Blue Prism, we don't have any trial versions available. We have to purchase the tool, so it's much difficult when we are learning RPA using Blue Prism. And in Automation Anywhere, a trial version is available, but it expires in 30 days. So that's the disadvantage of using Automation Anywhere. But in the case of UiPath, it is completely free. It's there is a community edition for that. And the learning curve has a user-friendly visual designer, hence easy to learn and implement. When we are learning UiPath, it is very much easier for someone. You don't need to worry about the programming skills or like that. If you are from any branch, you can create software robot using UiPath, because everything is almost like ready-made activities which is available in UiPath. So you just can take it, you can create your own workflows, but you should have a logic. You have, because every process is having a logic behind it, right? So you should have a logic for creating software robot, right? So it is a very much UiPath is having a very much user-friendly designer, so it is easy to learn. Blue Prism has a visual designer, easier than Automation Anywhere, but it is much bit complex than UiPath. Developer friendly, because you should have a programming skill. Then only you can learn Automation Anywhere, right? And in the Google Trends popularity, most popular tool is UiPath, right? And the second one is Blue Prism, and the third one is Automation Anywhere, right? And yes, 11:40. This is the market trends graph, right? So UiPath is hitting, right? So this is the market size of the RPA, market size of RPA from 2016 to 2027. They are showing a futuristic graph, and in 2020 we could see the current situation, right? So they have marked consulting, implementing, and training, right? So what is consulting? Suppose I am a RPA developer. If someone from an organization, he or she needs to automate their works or their process, they will consult me, right? So I have to consult them, and I have to collect the requirement, right? So so there is a RPA consultant. There is a post for RPA consultant. So the consultant knows what are the things that can be automated. He may not be the developer, but maybe having some developer skills also, right? So he or she will consult the customer, and they'll take the requirements and will develop it. And the implementation part will be done by a RPA developer, the developer itself, right? Because the consultant, sometimes the consultant may be the he will be the developer as well, right? So there may be a chance of RPA consultant. There is a chance for implementation part, that is an RPA developer, and training, right? So after developing a software robot, suppose I have collected the requirement from a customer and I have created a software robot, I have to teach that particular employee to monitor the software robot, right? So there is a chance for training. And also, if you learn RPA using a particular tool, you can be a trainer as well, right? So this is the market size. So there is a requirement for RPA consultants, RPA developers, and if you are willing to teach others about RPA using a particular tool, there is a chance for training as well. Training will belongs to two categories. First one is after developing the software robot, we have to train the employee for using that robot, and also we can train others to develop how to develop software robot using a particular tool, right? Because in every year, as you see the graph, they are predicting that because automation is going to hit the market, everything is going to get automated. And you maybe get confused. Then what about the other job requirements or the other job post, right? But you don't need to worry about it, because RP is making n number of opportunities for us to get jobs, right? So you can get trained in any of these RPA tools, and you can acquire or you can get a job easily in the field of RPA. And what is the use of UiPath? So we are concentrating on UiPath now. UiPath is a robotic process automation tool which is used for Windows desktop automation. It will work only in Windows operating system. It won't work in Linux or any other operating systems, because most of the company organizations or the government institutions, they are using Windows based systems, right? So applications, and they will in future they will also hope they will also develop the tool for running the automations in other platforms as well. And it is used to automate repetitive and redundant tasks and eliminate the human intervention. UiPath is the top tool to learn RPA because it is having a community edition. That is how it is the top tool to learn RPA, and it does not require any knowledge of programming languages to use it to implement RPA. And I will show you a demonstration of working of an RPA. It's a simple robot. I'm not showing a robot with a big or with a number of functionality. It's a simple robot. I will tell you what is going to do by this robot. Consider we have a folder in the system in your desktop. Suppose you have a folder in your desktop called as demo. Inside the folder, suppose you have a list of files. So I have a list of Word files as well as Excel files. If we open any of the folder from our system, you can see n number of files with different extensions, right? And you will be having video files, audio files, documents, PDF files, Excels, right? So what this software robot in your system, that software robot will categorize these files and will move the files into the corresponding folders. Right. So all the documents will be moved to the documents folder. All the Excels will be moved to Excels folder. All the videos will be moved to videos folder as like. Right. So that is what this software. It's a simple robot which is going to organize your folders. So let's see the demonstration. I'll show you the demonstration. So I'm not showing the workflow or how we are running the software robot. I'll show you how it is working, right? Because you are not familiar with the tools, right? So I'm not showing the tool part. I'm just showing how it is working. So the software robot started working. It is asking to select the folder to separate files. So I am selecting the demo folder from desktop and clicking on OK. And after running the robot, I am opening the folder. You can see the two folders has been created and the files has been moved to the corresponding folders. So in this demonstration, we are just moving documents and Excels, but you can use it to move any kind of files. So this is simple robot. And we have another demonstration. And in that demonstration, I will show you how we are taking or extracting data. Right, extracting. I already told you, like, we can easily use UiPath for extracting data, and the extracted data can be stored in an Excel file or in a CSV file. Right. So we'll see, and I'll show you how we are doing it. So what this software, the second software robot, what this software is, or robot is going to do is, the software robot will automatically open the browser and will navigate to the Google website, will search for the term RPA. So that is how we already trained the software robot. So the robot will search for RPA in Google and will get a list of results, right? So and the software robot will click on videos. So when we are getting the Google results, we'll have images, all news, videos, right? So we'll click on videos. So after clicking videos, we'll get a list of links with some title, link, and a short description, right? So what I'm going to do is, with the use of this software robot, the software robot will extract the link, the title, and the description of all the results from the video section. So this software robot is taking the first 100 results. So the first 100, how can we get the first 100 results? We'll get only 20 results in the first page, right? So the software robot will take the first 20 results, then will automatically navigate to the second page, and will take the next 20 as like it will navigate to the first 5 pages and will extract the first 100 results. And what are the things that are extracting? The title, the URL, and a short description, and will write those information into an Excel. Since it is a tedious task, if you need to extract first 1000 results, if you are doing it in a manual process, it's very much difficult for us, right? But in the case of a software robot, it will easily do the task. So I will show you the demonstration how it is working. See, sorry. It is automatically opening the browser, searching for RPA, then clicking on videos, and it is it is navigating to the second page, third page, automatically navigating to the different pages, then extracting data. So after extraction, you will get an Excel sheet, you will get a CSV file. These things are there doing by the software robot automatically. You could see it, right? Yeah, this is the data which is we are getting after running the software robot. We got the title, we got the URL, we got the description of first 100 results. So within seconds, we are getting this data with the use of software robots, right? So I hope you got an idea. And the final topic, that is career possibilities or opportunities that we have. You probably know already that automation has eliminated many manufacturing jobs, right? And you have probably heard by now that 73 million more jobs will likely to be lost by 2030 because of automation. But there is for everything there is a downside and an upside, right? So there is a downside to this, obviously, as people lose jobs. But there are two benefits as well. One thing is many of the jobs being taken over by automation were tedious and manual tasks, right? So we don't need to do those kind of tedious or manual tasks hereafter after automation. And the second thing is automation is creating jobs as well as eliminating them. Many of these new jobs will be in the field of RPA. So we are having a huge number of job opportunities or possibilities in the form of RPA. You can be a RPA consultant, you can be a RPA developer, you can be a trainer, right? And what the others, the people, they are already working in some organizations or in some government institutions. Their job responsibility will change. They will be monitoring the software robot, and the remaining time they can use it for some other productive works. So that is how the RPA is going to change the world, as like computers change the world, right? So that's it about RPA. And if you have any queries, you may please ask it now.
Dia, I have a few questions. Is that right?
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
As you already mentioned, automation, robots can work 24/7. I just want to know whether does it require any maintenance, or does it require any configuration? Does it require any sort of interventions in the long term or the long run? That is my first question.
Yeah.
Second question. What about the error correction methodologies which can be incorporated in the robo software, or whatever maybe? Suppose even if you say that it is a perfect robo, but there are chances that it can we can come across errors while running the robo at any point of time, maybe not in the near future, or it can come in the far end of the working of the robo. And the third one, I just want to distinguish between the software robo and a normal software. How does it differ? What are the criteria which you categorize and say this is a software robo and this is a software? Is there any measures you say that these are the things?
Okay. So the first question was about the modifications or the updations, right? So I will tell something about all these questions. The answer for all these questions in a simple or a simple para. Like if suppose we have already developed a software robot for an organization, and while developing the software robot itself, the developer will taking care of all the possibilities that is going to happen while running the software robot. So he's doing some error handling mechanisms in the software robot during the development itself. Right. During the development itself, the developer has to analyze all the n number of possibilities and have to develop the software, the robot only based on that, so that he has to implement the error correction mechanisms. Suppose the software robot is going to trying to open a file. Suppose the file is not present there, so the developer has to taken care of by developing the robot itself, and he has to see another mechanism to solve such kind of issues, right? If some resource is not available, the software robot has to search for some other resources. If it is not getting it, it may has to indicate or intimate to the person who is controlling that particular robot, and saying this resource is not available, so that this particular process is not going to happen. Likewise. And what is the difference between the software robot and the normal software is, the software robots are working on top of the softwares. As like we are opening browsers, we are opening Excel sheets, or we are opening, these are all softwares, right? But the things that we are doing is just operating these softwares. So this operational part is done by a software robot, rather than this task will be done. For suppose we are in the current situation, we are doing all these tasks, right? So instead of doing by us, those operational things automatically by the software robot. So when the software robot start to run, it will automatically open the softwares. It will automatically take data from some files, input it, submit it, will take that and the results as like, right? So that is how the software robots are working. So I hope you got an idea, right, sir?
Yeah. As what you mentioned, I understand that it's just a controlling authority and the decision maker, so that it controls other softwares which is part of it, or it may be a third party or something. Yeah.
Yes. And the software robot, you don't need to know about the internal technical things about the softwares that it is using. They will just work as like we are working, right? But as fast as possible. We may be taking much time for doing that, but the software robot won't take much time, right?
Yeah, got it.
Yeah. If you have any other queries, you may please ask. And you can also give me a feedback on how was the session, whether you got an idea about RPA, and anyone can unmute yourself, or you can put a message in the chat box. Thank you, Sneha. Thank you. Others, if you have any queries, you may please ask. Quite productive. Thank you, Anas.
I just have one more query. What if the production cost of such, as what is meant, only the UI path is free, if you could say, otherwise others are being paid.
Yeah.
So what about the production costs involved in developing the software, apart from the other aspects?
Yeah. Sir, it's based on the requirement that we have. Suppose you may need to automate some task in 5 systems in your company or in your organization. You have to purchase the license for robots, free license which is attached to the community edition. And if you have more requirement, if you have more systems to automate, you have to directly, for example, if you are using UiPath, you have to give the requirement to UiPath and have to purchase it. But the price, everything will be depend on their current market price. So we have to connect them, and we have to tell the requirement to them. We'll tell them these are the number of robots that we need to have. So they will give us the licenses. So for getting the licenses, we have to pay them. But for learning purpose and for running a sample robot, or for running a single robot, you just need to have the community edition.
Do we have something? Yeah. Do you have something like partial licensing, so that I may not be using much, so I'll be using a certain set of modes. Is that way? Is there any partial licensing system for that?
We have to pay for a single license, that is for a single robot, sir. And if you don't have any much requirement and you just need to run a single robot in your system, if you have only one system, you don't need to purchase it. You can use community edition and the robot attached to it.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Very informative presentation. Thank you. Thank you, Aparna. Thank you, Joshua. Thank you, Amrita, Alina. Thank you.
Ajahn sir, are we going to wind up the session?
I think there is no more questions which is rising in between, so you can just wind up the session.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. So in this last 1 hour, we have been listening to a session on RPA by resource person Mr. Diya Beke. And through this presentation, we came to know about the importance of RPA, its real-time examples, and also career opportunities. On behalf of our department and each and everyone present here, I extend my deep gratitude to today's speaker for his excellent presentation. Thank you, sir. And also, I would like to thank our HOD, Mr. Akhil sir, and all the coordinators, Mr. Ajahn sir and Mr. Sinjit S, for making this webinar a great success. Thank you to all the participants also.